This video is going to be about weathering this athearn Genesis high-cube boxcar, specifically Conrail. This Conrail boxcar I saw a great deal at the Bakersfield train show, and it was $20, but I brought it down to $15, and now I'm going to be weathering this. It has amazing detail. The only thing it's really missing is its air hoses. Other than that, everything is correct, and it looks like an amazing car to weather. So let's get right in. First, we're looking at really nice details, good shots of the car on the side. You can see that nice Conrail on the roof. This will be a first part. We won't be doing the roof, and we will be doing other things, as in like adding streaks, rust streaks, and just rust in general. And then we will be weathering the sides more. So now what we're going to be starting off using is matte finish. It's basically a dull coat you're going to use. So you're going to spray that all over the car, and what you're going to do is let that dry outside or inside, probably like a garage or a shed or something. The dull coat is very strong. So first of all, once you're done, use earth brown, and you're going to be using earth brown and flat black acrylic. I got these paints from my local hobby shop, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be starting off with the underbody. Usually I start off with the underbody on all of my cars, and I start off by disassembling the car altogether. The trucks, the wheels, so that we can get a nice, good look at how the car is going to be painted. It's also going to be showing us, giving us more space to work around the trucks, those small details that we need to get in. So right now we're just taking it out with a screwdriver. Yeah, we'll be taking them apart, the wheels as well. So these trucks, I didn't know, but they had rolling barrel caps, if I'm saying that correctly. And I was very surprised because I didn't know this car had those rolling bearing caps. And so that was honestly a surprise for me. But I should have known, because it was an athearn Genesis. But I guess I didn't assume because of the air hoses. But that will probably be a detail part I would add in the future. So I'm getting a stiff brush to apply the paint on the underbody, and then a small brush, probably just to dab it on. So we'll get the stiff brush to probably mix it and apply some, and we'll use the flat one, well, not the flat one, but the more soft, to apply it, more streaks, and in a vertical, no, not a vertical, but in just applying it and covering the underbody. So I'm using this technique. It's called dry brushing. So the dry brushing technique works perfectly, and the acrylic paint will be applied right after the dull coat, so it would stand out because of the dull coat. Dull coat is basically like spraying on glue. The glue would become adhesive, very adhesive to powders and acrylic paints. So it's perfect for what we're doing right now. So if it's always good to have a paper towel. So if you get a paint on yourself or on the car on a specific area that you didn't want to get it on, you can always go back and take that off. But you can also use a Q-tip with probably just a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Rubbing alcohol, so you can just take that off, and it'll act like nothing was ever there. I would say it works every single time, especially even if you add a dull coat on it. you can still be able to take off the paint. So now what we're doing is disassembling the wheels. So I'm at this point I'm realizing that it has rolling barrel caps. So that's how they look like. So now we're doing this effect on the trucks. Just applying it very lightly so that it gets in all the small little areas on the trucks that we can't really see from afar. But if you do look close, from a shelf layout or even just filming the train running by, you would most likely be able to see these painted effects on the car. So we're going to do the top, and we're also going to do the bottom. It's very important to weather the trucks very prototypically, because the wheels of the trucks are one of the most things that are going to stand out, as along with the roof and the couplers, the ends, and yeah. I know most people don't really weather the underbody of the train because it's always going to be on the rails, and you're never going to really need to see the underbody. But I think it's always a good idea to weather the underbody because it's more of a conversation piece. So you could say, yeah, I do this kind of weathering, or I don't do this kind of weathering. Most people, like me, I would say I do this kind of weathering, and I'll show them the underbody, the mud splatter, the kick up, everything like that, because I'm a person that loves detail. So that's the wheel that's covered in paint. It's going to dry. Since it's acrylic paint, it's not really going to take too long. It should take about I would say 20 minutes. Let it dry for at least 20 minutes so that everything could soak in, and then probably, if you want, spray a dull coat over it. Also add powders if you like, but I think we're going to be doing that later. So right now you can see me finding out where I'm going to be placing my decals at. This is graffiti decals. I really don't have the time nor the supplies to add these decals by brush or by marker. So what I'm doing right now is buying decals. I got these decals for about $15 at the train show, Bakersfield train show. That's where I live. So I went to the Bakersfield train show. I got all these cars. My last video was a unboxing video, so go check out that unboxing video, because I believe that was it was a long video, very long, but it was a good video. I really liked it. I enjoyed talking to people as well. So right now I'm using a tweezers to hold it and move it around. So I would hold it down and slide the paper right out, and then I would just find out where I'm going to place it. Even though I already did find out where I was going to place it, and that's what prepping for the decal to be put on the train car, adding where it is before you add it. That's really what you're going to be doing, and what you're going to be trying to do is find out where you're going to want these decals to be, the more realistic spots. Some of these decals, they're super realistic. I actually seen some of these decals in real life as I looked them up. And now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding some, it's basically like glue, but it's, you're going to be dabbing it on to the car. You're going to get a good amount on your brush and then add it on. I didn't necessarily stay there adding them on for too long. I actually applied about 3 or 4 and then I stopped because I was just taking too much time, and I noticed that I was just going to dull coat this. It would already be stuck on the car after I finished dull coating it. So now this is my other side that I finished. This is the flat black acrylic wash that I'm going to be making. That is actually the cap of a spray bottle that I'm going to be using. You want to add probably a little bit, a drop or two of earth brown, just to lighten it up so it can blend in with the car. So, but I don't think you really needed that. I don't think I needed that too much. The best I can do is just use all black, because the black would usually just cover the brown up anyways. It would all just turn black. The 70% alcohol, that's the one I'm using. So just add a little bit to the cap, because it's spray paint cap. So just add it to the cap, and then you're going to be wanting to mix it. I mixed this for not so long actually, and it worked perfectly fine. Noticing that it was acrylic, I used a good small brush that I used to apply the glue to the decals. It was a micro set, and that I used to apply glue to the decals. Now what I'm doing is I'm dabbing it in parts where you won't really be able to get, so like under those grab irons on the side. You're going to want to do vertical streaks down on the car. So you're going to do it down. And honestly, it'll work like magic. It'll get all in the small crevices by itself. It is a wash, so you don't really have to stay there too long applying and reapplying it, because usually you'll just take one applied wash to just bring out all the details. And honestly, it just makes the car look 10 times more better. It brings out those the details that you won't really be able to see in a camera if it's a brand new car. But usually people would do this with powders, but I found out making this wash by yourself is much more effective. I would highly recommend not using powders to bring out these kind of details on these box cars. But you would be able to use powders to bring out details probably on hopper cars. That is one of the things you could do, but I still wouldn't do that. So now we're just doing vertical streaks down, getting in under those grab irons, like I said, and you would be fine from there. You just let it dry for about an hour or two, just so everything could be set just perfect, and then probably spray a dull coat, just one spray on one side and on the other side. I think this is the last thing I did, just to bring out the detail and cover the sides up with some grime, just to give it some age so it can come to life. Now what we're doing is weathering detailing the underbody. This is chalk pastels I got from my local hobby shop, and these really you can really use for anything, honestly. There's so many colors, so many options that you can use for hopper cars, cabooses. You can even make custom loads with these kinds. But it's always good to try new things and combine colors as well. So you can do that by using the correct brush, by not using such a big brush. I would use a brush like this, just some brush that you would always use. So I pick one brush, and then that's gonna be the brush I use until I lose it, or it's just I can't use it anymore. You know what I mean? It's always good to use the same brush, especially for powders, over again. the same one. So now we're just lightening things up, adding lots of rust. You can see that's a big patch right there, and I'm spreading it out. You could also like blow on it just if too much gets in one spot, or you can just get a big flat brush and spray that around, or you can use a makeup brush to take all that extra weathering powder out. So now for the trucks. Now you finished weathering the trucks, as in painting the trucks. They all look really old, and it looks good. You could leave it there, but I wouldn't. So right now I showed you the earth brown acrylic paint because I believe I'm going to be painting the trucks, the rolling bearing caps on the wheels. And with just a small brush you can get from your local hobby shop, it's not focusing, but that's all right. You can bring it in very, very concentrated, as you can see in this clip. And once you have it right there, roll the bearing cap, the cap around. Especially if it's a rolling bearing cap, you're gonna want to get all the sides. This is what I mean by I'm a very picky, detailed person. Not a lot of my cars are very detailed, but the weathering kind of it kind of helps me distract myself from all the other details. And if you follow me on Instagram, you see there's the finished one. That's the finished rolling bearing cap. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see some of my Railbox, one of my Railbox box cars that I posted not so long ago. It's actually up there right now. Go check it out. It's a very nice weathering job I did. Usually I use the same techniques on all of my box cars, but I think this one I used a little bit more. So I'm using white acrylic paint and a bit of isopropyl alcohol. You could also use water. I believe water works as well. But I'm using the white acrylic powder with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I'm mixing it a little bit like a wash, but yeah, you can use. I use my tweezers as to help me do the effect. So you see, it looks like a lot, and it looks like it'll stand out very much, and it will. But once it dries, you can't really see it that much. So it's very tempting to just splatter it all over the car, but usually having a lot of control over how much you put on the car would make a big difference. So now I believe I'm using, you could use some flat black or some, I used flat black, or you can use some brown. The same technique, just different acrylic paint with some isopropyl alcohol, and then use the kick up to do that thing. You can see me right now. I am using a small paintbrush to apply the weathering powders, just rust all over that, all over the coupler, because usually that's where most of the rust would come from. Some scrapes from just hitting against another car, crumpling up. Yeah, so right now we're also doing the kick up. I'm doing this with just some black acrylic, no, not acrylic, black weathering powders. And then we do the same technique for the kick up. Just rub your brush against that very quickly, and it should bring out a very nice effect of kick up on the sides of your car. So it's very realistic as well, just like that. You can see I'm using another color. And that's to give it a little bit of color differentiation, showing old and new mud and dirt, whatever gets on these cars. But you can also find a lot of photos or videos online, and you would be able to see like closely. If you pay attention, you would be able to see that there is a lot of kick up and mud splatter on these kinds of cars. The white is to make like a new mud. So that's like new mud. It's fresh mud. Yeah, so you can use this. I'm also dabbing it a little bit just because I can't really see it. So I'm just dabbing it a little bit on the sides. You can dab it on the top a little bit. Just have some fun and experiment. See what happens. Yeah, I'm also painting and weathering the little walkway right there, and a couple lift bars. And you can see how that just makes a huge difference. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye.